Hello YouTube again, this is Andy. Just thought I'd make another video. I've suddenly got a lot of time on my hand. My customer, with less than 20 minutes to go, has called me up to say that they can't make the appointment and they've got to go into work and then go and do some shopping. So my day's been totally messed up. I'm not earning anything today, and that's the whole point of working. Anybody out there who books a tradesman in, make sure you can make the appointment, and if you can't make the appointment, please allow plenty of time so that the tradesmen can find other work to do, because it is their living and they do have expenses. It is actually going to cost me to sit on my arse now, because, well, I've still got my bills to pay. There's the insurance, there's the renew of my gas safe license, all the other expenses to do with vans and running a business. And if I don't work, I don't get to pay the bills, or if I do pay the bills, it means I haven't earned anything to actually pay for food, drink, shelter, and those other things that we all need. Rant over. Just thought I'd show you a bit more of my van. Obviously the cable ties are still up there holding everything in place. The shelves and things are actually going to be secured better with these L brackets I've got. They're going to be either screwed, bolted or pop riveted or whatever's best to hold everything in place. You can probably see that pretty much everything's been made out of plywood. I quite like plywood when it's finished. It's got a nice finish, especially when you put some clear varnish over. I've made sure it's low emission varnish, so I don't get poisoned, and even the plywood, it's low emission formaldehyde, because pretty much everything contains formaldehyde. The glues they use can actually be a bit naughty. But this plywood I've used is actually low. I can't get any lower. For some reason you can't get E0 rated plywood in this country. And by the looks of Mr. Internet, other countries are the same. There's very few that actually do E0. There's obviously a market out there for somebody, but no one's taking advantage of it in this country yet. You've probably noticed that the bed panel is held up by straps. That's a very thin strap. It's just a temporary thing because there's no weight, there's no mattress on it now. I've dropped the mattress off, and well, it's going to be like that until I decide to actually sleep in here, which probably won't be till end of spring now, since we're moving in towards autumn and winter. But I have got some stronger ones. I'm actually going to it's not focusing very well, probably because the light and the fact it's slightly luminescent, is actually going to hold the whole plywood off the floor, off the side there, because it's currently resting on my van vault, which would make it difficult to open my van vault up. I've actually got two van vaults because of all the thieving tow rags out and about, and with me having so many tools, being a tradesman, I'm not going to get robbed again. There is clearance up there for me to actually lift it off the van vault, and if I figured it out right, if the depth away from the wall, there should be clearance enough for me to open that van vault up and get inside okay. I've deliberately built the bed on that side because that's the van vault I use least. It's very rare that I actually go inside, but it's always got the tools you need just in case. If you haven't got them, you're going to get caught out. As you probably noticed, the remote control there for my LEDs, as a lot of people have had, I bought it off eBay, and I can have a disco inside here if I want. And you've probably seen all the lovely colours. Well, I don't actually like it like that. I'm pretty much just going to use it as white, and when it comes to night time, I can always fade it down. Too much light, too much brightness, and well, it's using battery, and even though they are LEDs, it will run it down. I do actually have a bit of a auxiliary battery system. It's an old battery, it came off my old van. It's actually in this battery box down here. Obviously you can see the clamp bolts, the bright things. It's not showing up too well with my camera phone. But there's also that green thing there, the connections for the smart charger there. There's a fuse box. I fused the life out of this job. I didn't want electrics that would end up setting fire to this place. underneath this bag, there's more of the hold and electrics and things, but there's also the breather tube for the battery straight out underneath the floor. So if it does decide to gas up, I'm not going to get poisoned or blow up because of the hydrogen. These wires I've yet to tidy up, and up there is the controllers for the LEDs. And what I've done, because I only use the back door, this side loading door is obviously covered by the bed, or what will be the bed, just a piece of plywood, and I've put the switch near the back door. It's a little toggle switch. I like these little toggle switches because when you're groping around in the dark you can just switch it on. But these LEDs are going to make my life a lot better this winter, so I can actually find the things inside my van. It's always been a problem finding stuff in my van during winter when it's dark. But anyway, I'll show you a bit more about the bed. It's pretty much just screwed together, and put a little hinge in there so the legs fold down and I can fold them away so I'm not poking them in my face and injuring myself, because it is a confined space. This van, by the way, is a short wheelbase Volkswagen LT Mark II, pretty much the same as the Mercedes Sprinter, but it is short wheelbase, so there's pretty much just enough room for the bed and a bit of a shelving, and there is a gap down the side so I can actually get to the lights should I need to change any bulbs or things. But anyway, I've decided to make this video to show everybody, because I'm going to be living in this next year for a bit of stealth working. When I say stealth working, I'm going to be sleeping in here and working during the day. And I'm going to try to go down to London, yep, that's right, London, England, and earn some more pennies, because where I'm at the moment it's been a bit tough. I started up my business in a recession because the employer I work for, well, basically they weren't very good. They lost contracts, and then the recession was the final straw and they went belly up. There's a bit more to it than that, but I'm not getting to that because it can make you bitter. But I'm very happy with the charging system, the battery. It's an old Bosch battery. It's powered everything that I've needed so far, and all I really wanted is for the lights. And I do have an inverter, but I'm not intending on using it because for the type of work I do, my batteries can last easily a week between charges, and by that time I should be home. I am going to tidy these wires up. I know they're hanging around. They're not going anywhere because they're actually clipped up behind that rail in that gully up there. But it'll just make it nice and tidy. And the wires for that charge relay down there, the smart charger, they run through the cab, through the bulkhead, through the firewall, through the grommets that used to be for the throttle cable. Because obviously in England we drive on the have the steering wheel on the right hand side, everyone else on the left, and the hole for the old throttle cable on the left hand side, when it obviously left Germany, is still there. So I poked it through there without having to drill anything, and able to seal it up, so obviously if there's a fire I'm not going to get burnt or get enough time to get out at least. But the wires I've run, it says on the instructions either 2 lots of a smaller size or 1 lot of a bigger size. Well, I ran two lots of the bigger size. I don't believe on skimping on wires. They need to be the right size, easily capable of carrying the current that's produced, and that's exactly what I've done. It's fused as recommended through one 30 amp fuse, so the 2 wires go into the 1 fuse. These others, you can probably see that they're linked between one and the other and the other and the other. The reason being, there's 2 fuses that powers 8 fuses with that board, so one fuse feeds another 3 fuses, and the reason I've done that is got double protection. If a circuit pulls too much, it doesn't blow the first fuse, it's likely to blow the second fuse. First fuse being smaller than the second, but you never know when things go wrong. I like belts and braces approach to things. But these van vaults are secured to the floor. First time I've done that because I got robbed, and they didn't so much get the van vaults what they want, and if they thought about it, they should go for the tools, but the tools are locked up. I've got a lot of copper pipe, or I used to carry a lot of pipe. I used to have it on the roof rack and some in here, and they weigh it in for scrap metal. Now scrap metal prices have gone way down, and I'm glad because my material prices have come down, which means I can pass on the savings and be competitive. But people still steal it, and they still target your van, and of course no end of damage to your van. My last van, they actually took a sledgehammer to the hinges, and I'd literally only just gone into the property, come running out, and the lad went running off with his sledgehammer. But obviously it damaged my van, and what for a few quid's worth of copper, is it really worth it? Well, obviously to him it is. If I ever catch hold of him, well, there's going to be a price, and it's going to cost him a lot. But anyway, I'm not sure if I'm whittling on a bit, and I'm not sure if I've mentioned this. People in the van community probably will recognise that this kind of setup. It's basically a decent bucket with a lid and 2 bin bags inside that haven't got any holes in. And the reason being is because that's my toilet. I've only used it a couple of times, and one of the times I left it full with just some of this cat litter on top to see if there'd be any smell, and there wasn't. I couldn't smell a thing. And when I took the lid off again, I could barely smell anything. Although I do laugh at this bag for this cat litter. See the cat? What's it doing? Well, cats don't lie in cat litter trays because it's covered in poo and all sorts. So what they really want is a picture of a cat squatting. That'd be a more accurate description of what the cat's going to do inside that cat litter. But there we go. Rant over, whittling over. Be well, and that's a shout out to Bry. Thank you to all of you who've inspired me to actually have a go at this. I'm not just going to be work camping in it. I am actually going to go to places next year and spend some time. I've wanted to travel around the UK before, and I've never got round to it, but now I've got no excuses. And I'd like to thank everyone who's inspired me, whether that be Will Burson, Kaleb, the Ramblings of Bry. I quite like Ramblings of Bry. He goes on a tangent. He starts off on one thing and you never know where he's going to end. And I like the inspiration. Even Wanderlust Estates, James, his travels, I really enjoyed those. And his experience of the van and the problems. You've all encountered things of one kind or another. But you got over it, and that's the thing. You can do stuff, and you got to believe you can do stuff. My brother's foster kids, I'm forever telling them, you can do stuff. You can achieve stuff. You've got to put your mind to it, and if you fail, well, that's a learning experience, and then you find a different way of sorting it. You can do it, and I'm trying to apply that to myself. I can do stuff. My business is going to succeed. I am